Welcome to Terrortown Talk with Coach Rocky Hidalgo. I'm your host, Dan Meyers. Each week we'll be recapping last Friday night's game, look ahead to this Friday night. This week's show is brought to you by Peachtree Pest Control, Island Ace Hardware, and Sapelo Equipment Company. If you'd like your business featured on Terrortown Talk, shoot Coach Rock an email, which you can find down below in the description. All right, Rock, welcome to the show, man. How you doing this week?
I'm good.
Tough game against Camden last Friday night. What's some of the takeaways you had?
I went into the game, I told our kids I wanted two things from them. I wanted to see them compete, and by that I mean I wanted them to play hard for 48 minutes, didn't care about the scoreboard. The other thing, I wanted them to play together. I wanted those guys to go out there and when things go sideways, we have some adversity. I didn't want them to point fingers at each other. We had a little bit of that going on in the McIntosh game. I felt like our kids were better at that. I felt like we competed for 48 minutes. There were some things that we obviously didn't do well. We have to work on. But I've said from the beginning of the season that this team was going to be a work in progress. We got a lot of stuff to work on. We have 3 returning starters, lots of new faces out there. So the biggest thing that we have to do is keep improving every week. I think we made strides. I know people probably disappointed in some things. Just in the scoreboard, I wasn't real happy some of the times defensively how we played. But the other side of it is, we had a lot of moving parts in there because of COVID and guys coming back. And a lot of guys had to play that game and didn't get a lot of chance to practice a whole bunch. So we were kind of all over the place defensively. We still have some work to do there. But, the two things I really wanted from the team, we got.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no quit in their dictionary. Although I've seen a few of their grades. There's not a lot of words in some of their dictionaries.
Come on now.
That's an old Bobby Bowden quote. Sorry. John Moody, 173 yards on the ground and threw for a touchdown.
That was DJ Riley that threw for the touchdown.
Was it DJ?
Yeah, it was DJ.
Okay. I had it in my notes as DJ, but I got it in the paper. It was John Moody. But John Moody, 173 yards, seeing holes well. Producing when there's an opportunity there.
I think the biggest thing about John played very well, but I think more than anything our offensive line blocked better, especially in the second half. I think our play calling was a little better in the second half. So part of this we have to adjust, not just as players to a new system, but as coaches to a new system. So it's a whole new mentality. And they were giving us a light box. We were trying to throw the ball some in the first half against it, where in the second half we said we're just going to hand it off and run the football. And we did that, and the kids were more physical up front running the ball. So that lends itself to running backs having a big night.
Yes, sir. And like you said, DJ Riley, touchdown pass and interception. Good game from a young kid starting fresh. I guess he's not that young anymore, but new starter.
Yeah, and he played. He did some good things. There's some, like a lot of our kids on defense. We have to get a little more physical on the defensive side of the ball. We have to fit on the run better. We didn't do a great job against that, and that hurt us a bunch, which is why we got creased for some long runs.
Coming into practice this week, what are we looking to clean up on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think some of the things are just our reads by the wide receivers and the quarterback. I think some of the times we're not on the same page there. We had some times we thought we were going to run fade routes and we ran hitches, or we thought we were going to run a hitch and ran a fade route. I think that was a big issue there with those guys, and we're still trying to clean that stuff up. A lot of the people think you just call a pass play and the guy goes out and runs that. Well, that's really not how it works. It's dependent on what the defense gives you, and if the corner caps the route, we sit down. If the corner's outside, we run a post. If the corner's inside, we run a fade. So there's a lot of learning with our kids, and it's on the fly. So the quarterback and the wide receiver have to be on the same page. Still working on that a little bit. We dropped some passes that we shouldn't have dropped. And then we've got to make some throws that we didn't make in the game. So, either of those things, just from a passing standpoint, we've just got a lot of things we have to clean up.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes in coaching is you got to be able to play without thinking so you can think to win. And right now we're having to think a lot while we play.
Mine, to sum that up easier, I guess, is you think you stink. And if you're thinking, you stink. And we're doing a lot of thinking out there right now at some spots.
Fantastic. We're going to take a short break. Hear a message from our sponsor.
Coach Rocky Hidalgo of the Glynn Academy Red Tunes. As a football coach, it's always nice to have a wide variety of tools to get the win on a Friday night. Running backs making plays, some big guys on the offensive line, and some nasty D linemen make the job a whole lot easier. Add some new tools to your team at Sapelo Equipment Company. Tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, hay farm implements, and more. Make all of your jobs a whole lot easier by visiting the awesome folks at Sapelo Equipment Company. Go Terps! Being a homeowner, you're responsible for protecting your home turf, and there's a store right here in our backyard with all the tools to get the job done. Island Ace Hardware, right off Frederica Road. Whether you're working on your ground game, looking to air it out, or looking to smoke the competition, Island Ace has it all. Island Ace on St. Simon's Island is a proud partner of our 2019 Glynn Academy Red Terrors football team.
All right, welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors. Scout Team Player of the Week this week?
We got a great look last week from our scout team guys all the way around. We've got a lot of young guys, a lot of ninth graders out there working their tails off out there. One of the guys that I felt came in last week and did a great job for us and giving us a good look was Jaden Ellis. And so I would say probably him. He came in and ran the ball hard all week long, and he did a nice job for us on the scout team.
Fantastic. Looking ahead to Friday night, we got Winder-Barrow coming down between the bricks. What can we expect to see from them?
They're a big physical football team. When you watch those guys, they want to kind of get downhill and run the ball. They've got a big back, big kid, and they don't have a ton of foot speed. But man, they've got some big kids. Anybody who went to that game last year knew they were big on the line of scrimmage, big and physical on the lines of scrimmage. So we're going to have to come off the football and move some people around. I think they're going to try to come and get big at us, get tight ends and wings, and push us around because we're not big at those spots, and we're not great right now playing perimeter run defense. So I think probably just from a standpoint of how they're going to attack us, that's how I imagine they're going to attack us. Defensively, they're a 3-4 team, a lot like us. Not quite as much man coverage. Play a lot of quarters, quarters means there are 4 defensive backs across, 2 corners and 2 safeties. They give us some cushion in there, so hopefully we'll have some quick game opportunities and get some easy throws and pick up some yardage and chunks on the perimeter.
Fantastic. With those quarters, you should be able to pop the seams pretty well.
Well, it's not so much the seams. It's going to have to be like, we're going to have to throw the stopper on the outside. We're going to have to get the safety out of the way and with some double post moves, things like that. Fantastic.
It was just so nice this past Friday. Pac Student Section, marching band cranking. How does that influence y'all's game?
It's always good. One of the worst things is when you have to go somewhere and for some reason, like Winder-Barrow last year, the band couldn't come to the game. It was a long trip for those guys. And anytime you go to a game and you don't have the band there, you don't have the student section there, you don't have that kind of support, that energy. And, the fans are incredibly important to the success of the team because they do. I mean, a lot of times when you're down there on the field, when bad things happen to you, those guys can pick you up. And so it's important that those guys stay active and stay engaged.
Yeah, got to keep Uncle Mo on your side. All right, we're going to pause one more time for a message from our sponsors. All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors. What we got going on with JV and freshman this week?
So we added, last week's 9th grade game was canceled, so we added Richmond Hill is going to come down here, and we're going to play 9th grade at Glynn Middle School at 5 o'clock on Thursday. God willing and the creek don't rise, as they say. Hopefully, we won't have any code issues and we won't have any transportation issues, but that's our plan. JV is going to get on a bus and going to go to South Effingham. We're going to play Soham up there, 5:30 on Thursday night. It is an away game, but hopefully we'll have both groups out there playing ball, and we can get those games in as the year goes on.
Fantastic. You mentioned COVID and COVID issues. What does the football team look like right now with the school being shut down, but practice is still going on? You seeing some good attendance there?
Yeah, so most of our varsity kids have fourth block class. They have weight training fourth block. So what we're doing is, because those kids have to be in their classroom first, second, and third block, they can't be here at 2 o'clock when they would normally come to class. So we're having the fourth block kids come in at 2:30 every day. So they're here at 2:30, and what we're doing is we're going to get a lift in with them. We're going to watch film, walk through all of those things, what we normally do in fourth block class and right after school. We're having the rest of the team come at 4 o'clock. So if they don't have a fourth block class, they arrive at 4 o'clock. We're on the field at 4:15, and it's a 2.5 hour practice. We've had one day of it. Our attendance was pretty good. Hopefully we'll continue to do that. Fortunately for us, we have 2 weeks of this virtual school. Next week we don't have a game, so we have 3 practices next week. It's a little lighter week, and then hopefully we get our feet back underneath us, get back in school, and kind of get back in our routine.
How are you guys preparing for those players to be out? You got guys playing multiple positions. Are you bringing young guys up? What's that look like in a COVID world? I saw your post the other day of Homer just mashing
it's hard,
the puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
That's got to be the toughest thing you've dealt with.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, like Friday, you get a phone call Friday and a starter's like, hey, I can't come today, I don't feel good. And so not all these kids have COVID. Some of them just have a head cold, some of them have allergies, but we can't bring them in the building until we know. So basically they stay home until their symptoms are gone for 24 hours, or they go get a COVID test, which is usually 3 or 4 days. There are a lot of times we just kind of go out on the field. What we say is, let's just get on the field and see who we have here. From a special team standpoint, that's kind of what you do. You go out on the field and go, okay, who's here, who's not here, and all right, so all these kids are out because they're sick. Let's fill in. And the thing is, last week our JV offensive line changed. We didn't have the 5 guys there Monday. Tuesday we had a different 5 guys. Wednesday we had a different 5 guys. And Thursday, the group that we had practiced, our center wasn't there, and he was out getting a COVID test. And so what we ended up doing really is just like 15 minutes before the game, piecing together an offensive line and trying to play football with it. So it's not easy. Our coaches are, working their tails off to make sure the kids, stay safe. We have separate water bottles for each kid when they go to practice, so everybody's drinking out of their own water bottle. The kids are wearing a mask when they're indoors. We have electrostatic sprayers and sanitizer we're spraying the locker rooms every day and spraying the facility back and over again, sanitizing and sterilizing anything that we can. So it's hard. It's a lot of work. It's expensive. It gets expensive. It adds probably another 30-40 minutes to the end of the day to make sure everything is all sterilized and clean when you go home.
Yes, sir. And, but with this experience, these guys filling in, you might have a center playing tackle, a tight end playing guard. We expect to see that pay off in coming years. Guys have a little bit more football knowledge than a single position.
I would love to. I don't know how much, that really, if it adds up and if it accumulates. Sometimes when a kid's just thrown into a spot for a week, he's thrown there and it's so sudden he really doesn't get the gist of it. So who knows? I just want everybody to stay safe, and we can get through this and go back to normal and have like regular normal football seasons and school years. And I think that's probably everybody's hope and dream. And
amen to that.
Have my fingers crossed over there.
Biggest story out of the weekend, high school football, Bishop Sycamore. Have you heard anything about this?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it, yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
So everybody's like, I would say this. I'd say the fault is with ESPN. So ESPN, they hired a marketing company or a company to kind of set this game up. Well, my 2 cents is ESPN is a multi-billion-dollar company. Do your homework. I don't necessarily fault the coach of Bishop Sycamore outside. He played 2 games in 48 hours. That was really stupid. But people hype themselves up all the time for what they aren't or who they aren't. In the business world, people sell packages to people, and it's largely BS. I was talking to some guy from the radio today about it, and he called me to get my take on it. And I just told him, I said, man, you guys blow smoke up businesses behind all the time to sell them packages, and it's not true. These guys, he didn't do anything different. He told ESPN what they wanted to hear to get his team on television. Now, from that respect, a little shameless self-promotion on his part. I don't blame him for doing that. I don't begrudge him for doing that. He got his eyes beat in because of it. But and other people talk about like, they're showing a game that's not competitive and the player safety. ESPN does that all the time. ESPN puts Arkansas in the Citadel versus each other, and UT Chattanooga and Alabama. I mean, that's not a competitive game. Player safety is an issue there. ESPN doesn't bat an eye about putting that on television. So I fault ESPN for the majority of that. The guy who runs that program, the school, is kind of a fake school out here. I'm sure he's a dandy of a person, but he's promoting his school, and if people don't do their due diligence, I don't think that's on him.
Yes, sir. So last week we talked about tarot cards. What other ways can people get involved as far as sponsorship, being part of this program?
Well, one thing they can if you own a business, you can reach out to us and we can come and shoot a commercial and put the commercial on the business or on the show. I think our response has been really good with that. I think the other thing is obviously Booster Club memberships. You can support the Booster Club by joining the Booster Club. I think our lowest membership is $75. It goes up to $600. Corporate sponsorships. If you own a business, we have lots of different avenues for people to contribute to the Red Terror football program. The other thing is donations. I mean, there's a lot of expenses that go into running a football program. Our program is probably about 80% of the money that's spent with our program is raised through our Booster Club. And a majority of that is done through these kids who go out, and we do it at $5 to $20 at a time. We don't have a lot of guys who just show up and write us a $5,000 to $10,000 check.
We will take those.
Yes, I would love a $5,000 to $10,000 check, but we don't have a lot of that. Most of it is we're doing it with nickels and dimes, and it's a lot of hard work, and our kids do the majority of the heavy lifting, but that pays for things like our equipment. I mean, equipment is really expensive. Helmets can cost in excess of $600 with the emphasis on player safety. I go out and buy the best helmets we possibly can buy. There was a saying a guy used to work for used to say all the time, we don't Kmart our kids. I don't believe that. I don't think we Kmart our kids on equipment, shoulder pads. I want our kids to have nice stuff. I want them to be safe. I want to have the best instruction available. And a lot of that stuff costs money.
How many kids do we have in the program?
We have probably approximately about 120 right now. We've been as high as 190 and been as low as my first year we had 83. I think last year we finished the year with about 90. So it kind of fluctuates each year. We had we have a big freshman class of about 55 kids. It's a really good group of kids. And so that's a big chunk, probably almost half of our kids are in the 9th grade class, but it's a great group of kids. I think there's going to be a class that we retain a lot of kids throughout the years, and those are the classes you get and make those deep playoff runs with.
Yeah, the future's bright here at Glynn Academy, and not to say this season's not bright. We're going to keep building. We're going to learn a lot from these first couple games, and we get into region play. Really excited for our future there. Coach, you got anything else for the crowd?
Man, just everybody get out to the stadium at 7:30 and watch us take on the Winder-Barrow Bulldoggs. It's a great chance to go out. What else are you going to do on a Friday night? I mean, come over, drive over to Brunswick, have some dinner downtown, and get to the stadium and watch the Terrors get after it.
It's fantastic Southern football. You can't beat it here in the South. Thank you guys for watching Terrortown Talk with Coach Rocky Hidalgo. Again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Peachtree Pest Control, Island Ace Hardware, and Sapelo Equipment Company. If you guys would like your business to be involved with Terrortown Talk, check out Coach Rock's link below. Don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel so you can receive alerts every time we post new videos. Have a great day.